Well, here we are. This is technically not day one. Technically, it's like day -1, night -1 here on Tuesday night at Game On in Seattle. You can see that. Ooh, look at that. Look how much space we got for gaming this week. So much space. I'm going to be here basically from tonight, which is Tuesday, till Sunday, and playing a bunch of games. I've got my game. We're going to be doing some demos. I'm going to do some walkarounds. We'll probably do some video, some vlogs between games, or when I find some time. We've already actually got some gaming starting back over there. We're doing some setup. Like the genius I was going to do a time lapse of the setup for the game that we're about to play, and I totally messed that up because I forgot to hit record. So there was going to be a cool time lapse of me setting up the Germans here on the Normandy coast for the first game that I'm going to be playing with Stephen Dolges, who you might follow his channel already on YouTube, but if you don't, you should definitely go check his channel out. He's playing SCS for the first time, so I'm kind of teaching him that, and we're going to be playing the Mighty Endeavor. Let me see if I can flip the camera here. I cannot. Give me 1 second. So here we are, Mighty Endeavor. We're playing with the expansion, so we're going to do the entire East Front as well. We're going to have in about quarter of the way through the game, maybe a fifth of the way through the game. Obviously, the Soviets are going to come on from the east, and it's going to be a battle. The race for Berlin. Where is Berlin? Berlin's over here somewhere. Berlin, there it is. So I've only played this game solo. I've never played it face-to-face, been wanting to do that for a while. And then when I played solo, I've only played the Western map. So, and I didn't get very far. I got about halfway through the game before I decided to call it. But that was me learning SCS way back in the day. That was almost 10 years ago now, I think I might have done that. So I've been wanting to play this face-to-face for a long time. And I'm very excited that we're finally going to get a chance to do that, especially with someone who has been wanting to play it and learn SCS as well. Here you can see all of the allies getting ready for the Normandy landings. And what I like about this game is that it's basically the Normandy landings all the way to the end of World War II, but you get these like really hyper-focused moments, and then the game kind of spreads out, right? So we're basically going to be playing on this section of the map at the very beginning, first couple of turns, maybe a little bit down here for Operation Dragoon, and then as the Allies sort of make progress, which they're going to do, the front starts to expand, and we're playing with the map out on here for Brittany, and all of that, and then, as the Soviets come on, we're going to get sort of a huge sort of like explosion of action. And what's cool about this game is that you actually play the game in two sectors. You play the West and you play the East, and they're almost their own separate games. The player playing the Allies on the western half of the map plays the Germans on the eastern half of the map, and the player playing the Germans on the western half of the map plays the Soviets on the eastern half of the map. And so what that means is there's actually no downtime between turns. While the Western Allies are going, the Eastern Germans are also going. So you do all your movement and then all your combats together, and then you swap and you just keep going. So there's no waiting around for your turn to be ready. There's no waiting around for the other person to have to make their moves. You're constantly playing, which is very exciting. And so we're going to try and finish the entire game in about a day and a half, maybe a day and 3/4, 25 turn game. And we think we're going to be able to do it. So I will obviously be checking in here as we go. But very excited for this, more SCS, and finally some opposed SCS, and what is sort of the most appealing SCS game to me, which is this really zoomed out scope of sort of the Western and Eastern fronts of World War II coming to an end. So very excited. You can see Stephen actually organized all of the reinforcements before he got here, so we don't have to do any crazy setup. We just open the bag and go. Turn 18, turn 19, all of this stuff is already organized, which is great on his part to do that. And yeah, and we're gonna have some fun with this one. So I will be here all week, and I will be showing you as much as I possibly can as the convention wears on. Yeah, everyone's gonna have a good time, and I think, really happy. I think everyone needed this and wanted this for after 2 years of not being able to do conventions and what have you. So very excited. All right, so Stephen and I played here on day 0. We've played 4 turns so far, and what is that? What's the date on this? The date on that is the 11th through the 20th of July. Not quite sure where the historical Normandy breakout was at that point, but you can see that obviously he's taken the Cherbourg Peninsula, and the Brits doing a lot of work. They punched through kind of to the east, but they've been sort of hesitant to run against the SS that are guarding that river line. And a bunch of these German units in here have taken some losses. Some replacements have kept him in the fight, but he's finally managed to push me out of the good terrain. So now I'm kind of scrambling to form some sort of defensive line that is challenging to break through. He's been shipping in armor. The Canadians, you can see, are on the map up here. It's going to get real interesting. I think these first 4 turns have been kind of very tight and like claustrophobic in here for the breakout, and now I think it's about to happen in a very real way, especially this big gap that I've had no choice but to leave there for the UK, the Commonwealth. We did get Operation Dragoon down here, but the Germans, it came last, basically. A couple of weeks into the campaign, that's when the Free French decided to land down here in Saint-Tropez, and they basically have 6 turns to get through all those German units, which is going to be a tall order. We'll see how that goes. And then finally, we've got sort of on the east, which is a part of the game that I've never actually played before, is the remnants of the East Front German army have sort of retreated onto the map from the east, and in a couple turns, the Soviets, my Soviets, are going to be coming in and chasing them through Greater Germany, which should be a lot of fun in Poland. I don't know, how do you say you're doing so far?
Pretty good. The big, tremendous losses for the Americans have been the paratroopers, which it's interesting trying to figure out how to best use the paratroopers. You want to, like, I use them effectively early on, especially with the British, to open up control of hexes so that I could concentrate strength for a good field position, but putting them too far afield exposed them, and so I've lost some of those guys. I can get them back, but I'm probably going to be spending replacements on stronger units like the armor as they start to get attrited over time, and some of the infantry that I still have on the board. So it's really hard to judge like how good is good. I think I made some errors in using all of my beach port landings here and not leaving 1 or 2 open floating to threaten other areas of the map, but
I am pretty happy. I am pretty happy with the speed, or the lack of speed, I guess. I was expecting the breakout to be a little bit more violent, and so I feel pretty good about holding you in Cherbourg for 4 turns. But I think all that's about to change. So, but you know, I mean, the terrain, like as we get back here, the terrain for the Germans gets really good. But I guess at that point, it's like I'm losing if I'm trying to defend all those victory point hexes, right? So. We'll see how it goes. We're going to reconvene tomorrow night and play some more turns, and then the next day we're going to play all day, and hopefully we'll be able to finish it. I feel pretty good about our progress, that we're going to complete the whole thing. Anyways, we'll see you then.